Hello, I'm P. Andrew Sandlin, founder and president of the Center for Cultural Leadership. I'm going to discuss briefly the problem of political desensitization. We now have in the United States a major political party that is tolerant of and in some cases in favor of infanticide, abortion obviously, aggressive socialism in the form of the so-called New Green Deal that would effectively get rid of all commercial air travel within a decade, that radically supports the overturning of sexual mores, biblical sexual mores. I'm referring, of course, to the Democratic Party. I'm not thereby absolving the Republican Party of all error, evil doing. There's plenty of that also. What happens, however, is that little by little, a political party that has a great deal of influence, as the Democratic Party has, by embracing radically contra-creational and contra-Christian positions like infanticide and like anti-Semitism, by a refusal to repudiate anti-Semitism in its midst by a couple of the newly elected Islamic Congress members, by refusing to take this stand and by being willing to tolerate these remarkable evils. They create a culture in a nation, not merely in the party, that desensitizes us to evil. This happened in Nazi Germany, not to employ scare tactics. But how was it possible that very ordinary Germans came to accept the genocide, the gassing of Jews merely on the basis of their race? How was it possible that in the Soviet Union that ordinary people were able to accept, look the other way, and in some cases actively participate in the purging of a particular, quote, class, the so-called bourgeoisie, property owners? How is this possible? It's because well-respected, prominent political parties driven by diabolical and sinister ideologies embraced these practices and championed them. It's in this way that even conservatives can come to accept, little by little, the modified versions of these evil views. It's happened in our own country in the case of so-called same-sex marriage, which is not marriage, which would have been thought unthinkable even 25 years ago in either major political party, or even 10 or 15 years ago. But nonetheless, even conservatives today, many of them refuse to say anything about same-sex marriage because they've been desensitized by the prominent so-called progressive practice of it. And thus, as a severe burn on a hand, which finally heals and is scarred over, creates a desensitization such that a pointed object, a knife, can be poked into it, and there's no feeling. So little by little, otherwise good people can come to tolerate and embrace truly horrific actions when prominent people in a culture, and in this case in a major political party, accept it. The responsibility of Christians in a time like this, and true conservatives, is not to gradually accept these repellent and contra-creational actions, but to be ever bold in opposing them on every single issue, loudly and vocally, thoughtfully for sure, and intelligently, but nonetheless with great vocal boldness, opposing anti-Semitism, and opposing abortion, and opposing infanticide, and opposing the overturning of God's sexual morality. If we refuse to do that, little by little, we'll desensitize ourselves into an utter moral apostasy. I am P. Andrew Sandlin, ChristianCulture.com.